Hello everyone, this is Anis with you. Welcome to my channel. In this ASP.NET Core tutorial, we will see how to create paging bar for MVC CRUD list. Let us see the demo of the application. This bar can be called as paging bar or pagination bar or simply pager. This application has two pages, one at the top and another at the bottom. Both works the same way because both are same. Let's click the button number 2. Now the pager loads the previous and the first buttons. This time we will click the button number 10. It loads the 10th page and notice here the button 10 comes to the middle and it loads 5 numbers before and 4 numbers after the number 10. At a time it displays the navigation page links for 10 pages. Now let's click the next button. The pager moves to the next page, I mean to the page 11. So far so good. Now we will test the previous button. Yes, previous button also working fine. Then we will click the first button. When we click the first button, the pager hides the first and previous buttons because we are at the first page. Now we will click the last button. When we click the last button, the pager hides the next and last buttons because we are at the last page. Excellent. So the pager is working fine. Let's make the pager application from the scratch. Before I start, I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. I am taking lot of efforts and spending lot of time to make all these videos. In return, I request you to subscribe to this channel. So please subscribe and share this video. Thank you. Okay, let's continue the video now. First and foremost, we need to create the pager model class. Right click the models folder, click add, then click new item, then give the class name as pager.cs and then click add. Now I have added 6 properties to our pager class. Notice that I have made property setter method of all properties to private. This is one way of making the properties to read only and I like this approach. Let's see all the properties one by one. First property is total items. This property gives the total number of records. Next property is current page. This property gives the active page of the pager bar. Next property is page size. This property gives the size of the page, in the sense number of records to be displayed in a page. Next is total pages. This property gives the total number of pages in the pager bar. Next is start page. See the image displaying pages from 5 to 14. In this, 5 is the start page and 10 is the active page and 14 is the end page. So now we have created all the properties required for our pager class. What next? We need to set the values for these properties. This will be done in the constructor. First, add two constructor methods to the pager model class. First constructor is with an empty parameter and the second constructor has 3 parameters of type integer. First parameter is total items. Second is page, that is the current page. Third one is page size. I have made page size as an optional parameter by giving a default value of 10 to it. And then create a local variable named total pages and store the calculated value by dividing total items with page size. And then create a local variable named current page and store the past page parameter to it. And now create two local variables named start page and end page and set the start page equals to current page minus 5. In the attached image, the current page is 10 and the start page is 10 minus 5, which is equals to 5. Likewise, set the end page to current page plus 4. In the attached image, 10 plus 4, which is 14. I hope this is clear to you. If not, please rewind and see it again, as this is little important logic. Then this line is also very important. If the start page is less than 1, for example, if we are at page 2, then the start page will be 2 minus 5, which is minus 3. End page will be 2 plus 4, which is equals to 6. On that case, we will change the end page to 6 minus of 3 plus minus 1, which will be 10, and we will make the start page to 1. So please listen carefully. Then we will come to the end page calculations. This is very simple logic. No need to get confusions over here. If the end page is greater than total pages, then make the end page equals to total page. And if the end page is greater than 10, make start page equals to end page minus 9. Then we will set the calculated values to the property variables of our pager class. That's it. We are done with the pager class now. Here I have a controller method which serves the read operation of the CRUD operations. This project is done using the EF core, but this pager bar can be used for any CRUD project. Now I am going to alter the index method of the controller to support paging. Add a parameter named pg of type integer. I have made this parameter to optional by setting a default value to 1. First, retrieve the products from the database using the EF core dbContext variable underscore context and store it in the products list. And then add a constant named page size of type integer and set the value to 10. Then add a if condition to check and change the page parameter to 1 if the past page parameter is less than 1. Actually, this line is not required, but in case if the user tries to test your application by sending wrong parameters like 0 or minus 1 or minus 2 for page parameter, this condition will reset that parameter to 1 and avoids an error. Then add a variable of type integer and name it as rexCount and set the value to the number of products in the product list. Now add a variable of type where and name it as pager. This is very important, so please listen carefully. Then create a pager class by passing the required parameters. Here we are passing the records count, then pg, I mean the current page, and then the page size, that is how many records need to display in a page. Then add a variable named rexskip of type integer. We are finding the starting record by multiplying page minus 1 by page size. In case if the past page is 2, then page minus 1 will be 1. Multiply it by the page size, then we will get 10. Then the starting record for second page will be at 10. Actually it is 11, but the list counts starts from the 0. Hope you are following on. In case if you have any doubts or suggestions, please put on the comment section. Now copy only the required records to the variable named data. Please notice this line. If the page number is 2 and the page size is 10, then records to skip will be 10. So skip function leaves the 10 records and take the 10 records from the 11th position. Now we need to pass this pager to the view. In MVC, to pass data from controller to view, we use the model. The main data will be passed through the model. But what if we want to pass some additional information? Yes, there are multiple ways to achieve this. One of the way is to use a viewback. In viewback, you can add any objects in the controller and can get it in the CSHTML view page. Here I use the viewback approach. I added the pager object to the viewback. Then comment the return statement returning the view of products which has all the records of the product table. Now add a new return statement returning the view with the data. The new list which only contains the records of that particular page. That's it, we are done with the controller. I will show you the complete controller method code. Please make a note of it. Now it is time to add the pagination bar to the view of the listing page. In our case, it is index.cshtml. So open index.cshtml, then scroll up to the top of the page. I have copied the pager class creation script to the index.cshtml. This script is very simple. First, we are declaring a variable of type pager and assigning it to a empty pager class. Do you remember I had created two constructors in the pager class? So it becomes easy to declare a pager variable with default values. Then add a variable named page number of type integer and set it to 0. This line is very important, so please listen carefully. At first, we are checking the viewBag. Is there any object named pager exists? Because Visual Studio will not throw compile time errors for viewBag. Even if you forgot to add the pager object to the viewBag in the index method of the controller, still it compiled successfully, but it will throw you a runtime error. If the pager object exists in the viewBag and viewBag.page is not null, then we get the pager object from the viewBag and store it in the pager variable, which is a page scoped variable. Then store the pager.currentPage to the page number variable. Okay, let's create the HTML for page bar. Scroll down to the bottom of the listing page. In this video, it is index page. Then add a div with class equals to container. This div will be the holder for our paging bar. Inside this div, add if condition to check is the pager has pages. Example, if the model has only 0 records, then the pager will not be visible. Add an unordered list element, that is the UL HTML tag, and close the UL tag. In the UL tag, make sure you set the CSS class attribute to bootstrap pagination, otherwise the pager may not look nice. And also add justify content end. This is to keep the pager at the right side of the page. At first, we are going to create the page numbers like shown in the image. To do that, first add a for loop iteration where page equals to page.startupPage and page less than or equals to page.endPage, then pge++. Add the li tag inside the for loop to create page numbers. Then add the bootstrap class page item to the CSS property. I have also added a conditional class. If the page equals to pager.currentPage, then make that page highlight and select. We do this by setting the class to active for the current page and leave it normal for the other pages. And then add a link tag A with class equals to page-link. Then give ASP-controller to your controller name. In my case, the controller name is product, so I gave product. Then give the ASP-action to the listing action name. In my case, the action name is index. Then comes the important attribute ASP-root-pg. There is no such tag in the ASP.NET Core, but ASP.NET Core tag helpers will build this tag dynamically. The pg is the name of the variable in the index method. To pass the value to this pg parameter, we use this tag. Okay, set the ASP-root-pg to the for loop counter variable pga. Then save and run the application. Notice our page bar is displayed at the bottom of the page and page number 1 is selected and 2 is normal. Now the default page size is 10. I am going to change this to 5. So open the product controller.cs and locate the index method and change the constant page size to 5. Then save and we will run again. Wow, now we get 4 pages and our pager is looking good. Let's test our pager. Yes, it is working fine. Then we will add the next and last page link buttons. Next page and last page links buttons will be displayed only if the page.current page is less than page.total pages. Save and run the project. Now the next and last page buttons are displayed. When we click the last page, the pager.total pages becomes equals to the pager.current page. So the next and last page buttons are hidden. Then we need to add the previous and first page buttons. The previous and first page links will be displayed only when the current page is greater than 1. Kindly make a note of the HTML. It is very simple and self-explanatory. Let's save and run the project. Wow, our pager is working fine. We will try clicking all the page links randomly. Yes, all page links are working fine. To show a lengthy pagination bar, I have added more records to the products table of the database using the SQL query shown here. This is just a simple SQL query which creates duplicate records in the table. Now we get more number of pages and displaying page link buttons for 10 pages at a time. Now I want to display this paging bar in the top of the page also. What are the ways to do this? One direct way, just copy the paging div and paste it in the top of the page also. Definitely it will work, but that's not the professional way. So what I recommend is either to use a view component or partial view. Then we can display that view component or partial view wherever we want. Since I have not covered view components in any of my videos so far, I will go with the partial view method this time. But don't worry, search bar is on the way. I will use the view component method to create the search bar in my next video. Let's use the partial view method now. Right click the shared folder, then click add, then click view and then select razor view empty, then click add, give the name as underscore pager.cshtml and then click add. Okay, now the empty pager partial view is created. Then open the index.cshtml and cut the div which contains the paging bar codes and then paste the code to the underscore pager.cshtml partial view. After pasting the code, scroll to the top and bind the pager partial view with the pager model by adding the model to the underscore pager.cshtml. Now our pager partial view is showing a bunch of error indicators in red color. That looks scary, but no need to worry, we can solve this error easily. Just change the word pager to model everywhere. Please follow me and also notice that M is capital in the model. Now all the errors are fixed and our partial view is ready to be displayed. Let's open the index.cshtml and add our partial view to the bottom of the page. Wow, that's only one line of code. That's why I say code simple. Be simple but powerful. That's important. Let's run our application. Wow, there is no difference. No one can identify whether it is a partial view or a normal HTML, but no compromising in the quality or functionality. In fact, partial view gives better performance over normal HTMLs. Now copy the partial view from the bottom of the page and paste it to the top of the page as shown. So simple. Let's save and run the application. Awesome. We have got the pagination bar in the top of the grid also. That looks great. Let me collapse the table and show only the paging bars. Wow, that's only 2 lines of code. Okay, I forgot to tell you, please subscribe and share the video. Definitely it will motivate me. If I get motivated, I will make more videos. Guys, it's all from the real-time experience. I have 18 plus years of experience in software development and I work as a project lead in one of the good company in the UAE. Okay, the paging bar tutorial is done. But don't go away, wait. If you have watched my Code Simple CRUD application video, I had given an assignment in that video to create product by Ajax. So let me give the solution to that assignment. It is just 2 minutes, yeah. In case if you have not watched the Code Simple CRUD video, please watch it. The video link is available in the description of this video. Thank you. Open the indexajax.cs HTML and add a JavaScript function named createRow below the close detail form. Then copy the create partial view code. Still copying? I think you can pause the video and copy it. Okay, I hope you all copied now. The create partial view code is very similar to the edit partial view. It has only one difference. In the edit form, we have the value for the code property of the product at the creating the row in the table. We give this code to the row ID so that we can redirect the results to that particular row by setting this row ID to data-ajax-update. But for create, we have no rows. We have to create the row. We have a JavaScript function to create a row, but we don't have product code to set as a ID. So what to do now? I have created a hacky way to achieve this. In here, we create a temporary unique row ID by joining now.r with now.minute and now.second. Then we pass this as row ID for our new row. And then open the product controller.cs and add these methods to the product controller. Please try and all the best. With this, I am completing this video. Before I sign off, I request you to subscribe and share this video. I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. Thank you and bye for now.